Welcome to 5 Minutes in the Word, a daily devotional in the Word of God.
Derek, there's a story in the book of Matthew that I guess it gives rise to questions in my mind. It's found in Matthew chapter 19. It's a rich young ruler, that's usually the way we describe him, who comes to Jesus and he wants to know basically, what do I have to do to go to heaven? And Jesus says, well, keep the commandments. And the young man, I think, demonstrates that he really wants to know, because he says basically, well, which ones? Because of course you've got the law of Moses, but you've also got all these things the rabbis have been saying and so forth, traditions and things like that. And Jesus, in another account, not this one, it says he looked at him, he loved him, and he said, you lack one thing. Go and sell everything that you have and give it to the poor and come and follow me. Now, it's a great story.
Oh, definitely.
But I guess I don't think I'm quite that rich, So is there any way this applies to the rest of us?
Well, it definitely does. And first, we have to look at riches in itself, because we are very well blessed. And, so when we look at riches, as far as this man, I don't know exactly how wealthy he was, but we associate great wealth with him. But we're very well blessed, especially here in the United States. But take those riches aside, take our possessions out of the way, and just look at us as individuals. We are very well blessed as individuals, and I think that in order to help us kind of wrap these thoughts together, we can go back to Matthew chapter 16.
Oh, okay.
Because in Matthew chapter 16, Jesus is telling his disciples, that he's about to suffer, that he is about to die, that he's about to, be led into the hand of his enemies, and he's going to be put to death, and then rise up on the third day. And Peter actually, he kind of pulls Jesus aside quietly, and he rebukes him. I cannot imagine rebuking Jesus face to face. I can't imagine doing that, but he does. And so in verse 23 of Matthew chapter 16, it says, but he turned and said to Peter, get behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of men. And so you see this idea that he's telling Peter that, Peter, you're thinking like a man thinks. You're not thinking about the way a godly man thinks. You're thinking about the way the worldly man thinks. And you need to think in a different kind of way. And then he says to his disciples there in verse 24, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. And you see this idea of denial, and we think about that in terms of our faith. If we take riches away, we say we don't have riches, which we do. We have riches, but if say we don't have riches, what do we have? Well, we have our opinions. We have our preferences. We have our wants and our desires. We have all these things that we have within us. And here within this, this context, Peter, he's showing what he wants to happen. He wants, Jesus, to keep on living and to keep on prevailing. He desires for the things to just keep going the way they're going, and maybe even growing to greater prominence than they are. That's what he seems like he desires. What he doesn't desire for Jesus to die. He doesn't desire for him to suffer. He doesn't desire to be separated from his master. And what Jesus has to tell all of his disciples, that this life is not about us. It's not about what we want. It's not about our desires, and it's not about our possessions. It's not about any of those things. We have to deny ourselves and take up his cross and follow him. Take up our cross and follow him. We are to be about his business, just like Jesus wasn't when he was a little boy, and he was there studying with the teachers in the temple, and his parents come to him and basically just saying, why have you done this? Once again, I don't understand, chastising the Lord to his face. But anyway, he's a child. Why have you done this? And he's like, did you not know? It must be about my Father's business. That's what he was about. Jesus denied himself over and over again through his life, and the way that he lived, and the humility in which he approached life, coming down out of heaven, being God in the flesh, taking even the temptations that came towards him, the persecution that came towards him, the death that came towards him. He teaches us how to deny ourselves, how to focus on Him, and how to truly follow after Him. And that's what we as Christians need to do.
So, if I'm following you right, when you combine these two passages, you're really saying my riches may be some of the things I have, whatever I would put in the spot that really God ought to occupy.
Absolutely.